What is up, Light Fam? Welcome to another video. My name is David, your spiritual awakening coach, here to help you through your spiritual awakening. This Friday, March 18th, 9:30 a.m. Pacific time will be the first ever Lightways Live. Yes, be there or be square. If you're not there, I'm going to hunt you down and call you square. I don't know. Anyway, I am very excited to see where this goes. If we get a really good turnout and everybody really likes it, we'll turn it into a thing. And, eventually we can get to a place where we are interviewing some people that you guys really want to learn more about. The way I'm going to do them, they're going to be topic based. So in other words, we're going to have a specific topic. I'm going to talk on that. This Friday the topic is going to be navigating chaos and change spiritually, which corresponds quite nicely with today's topic, how to stay spiritual during a world crisis. So because these two topics are so closely related, please in the comments of this video, leave your questions and comments that you want me to address on the topic of staying spiritual during chaos and change and the world crisis for Friday's live, okay? And again, it is topic based, so please keep your questions and comments on the topic of navigating change and chaos spiritually. Don't use the live as your opportunity to ask me if I think your DM is thinking about you. Okay, guys, let's keep our eye on the prize here. So, and please not only click the bell icon so that you're notified, but turn on notifications. I get these messages from people, man, I clicked the bell, but I never get notified. Did you turn on notifications? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Turn on your notifications, click the bell. Now, let's get into today's topic of how to stay spiritual during a world crisis. At the time of the recording of this video, the war in Ukraine rages on. Now, war for anybody can be pretty shocking to the system, but especially after you've had a spiritual awakening where you start to move out of those denser, lower vibrational 3D energies, war can be very shocking to the energy body. The higher you move in consciousness, because there's a higher level of vibrational dissonance with your core vibration after having had a spiritual awakening. So, light workers, you got to remember, this is no surprise to your higher self. What's happening right now is no surprise. You chose to be here at this time to hold the light. Well, how do you do that? Well, let's get into how to stay spiritual during a world crisis right now. Let's go. How to stay spiritual during a world crisis. Well, let's take a look at the bigger picture. A lot of people in the spiritual community call this the age of Aquarius. A lot of them call it the age of enlightenment. And what is enlightenment? Enlightenment is conscious expansion into a greater understanding of ourselves as source consciousness, love consciousness. We incarnate into the physical to make our way back to love, which gives us a greater understanding of the love that we already are, okay? So a lot of you guys have heard the term 5D Earth. 5D Earth is not a different planet. It's not a different dimension. It's not a different place. 5D Earth is when a large enough portion of the collective consciousness step into 5D consciousness or unity consciousness. So what this means is that a big light has to be shown on what is out of alignment with unity consciousness, what is in alignment with fear and out of alignment with love, because the collective consciousness can't consciously expand into the higher consciousness, which is in alignment with love, if it's holding a bunch of dense 3D archaic concepts in alignment with fear. This is very much like shadow work. This is why it's chaotic. Shadow work hurts. Shadow work is chaotic, but once you do the healing, you emerge with a higher level of self-worth, self-love, and sovereignty. So the earth is going through some shadow work right now. The earth needs to heal those unhealed wounds of totalitarianism, authoritarianism, brutality, power, control, greed, war. those things are not in alignment with 5D Earth because they're not in alignment with unity. It's not like those 3D denser energies can kind of sneak its way into higher consciousness, because fear and love are two opposite vibrations. There's too much vibrational dissonance between those denser 3D concepts and unity consciousness. So the light has to be shown on what is out of alignment with unity. So basically, the universe is forcing the earth to do shadow work. That's what's going on right now. And the universe wants the earth to do shadow work because the universe is always trying to expand into higher consciousness to get a greater understanding of itself as love. How to stay spiritual during a world crisis? Well, you've got to remember that you chose to be here at this time. You being here in the midst of this chaos, in the midst of this purging process of what is out of alignment with unity, out of alignment with love, is no accident. So if you look at things from the perspective of your higher consciousness, you came here to hold the light, especially if you identify as a light worker. A lot of you guys are familiar with the Dolores Cannon material, where she mentions this huge call went out through the universe to all the light workers to incarnate on Earth and to help raise the collective consciousness. And it's interesting, as a starseed, I'm always calling Earth the kindergarten planet, right? Earth is the kindergarten planet where kids, like, they don't know how to play nicely together in the same sandbox, right? Oh, this is my toy. No, this is my toy. This is my part of the sandbox. No, this is my part of the, and I'm like, humans. Even though I identify as a human, a lot of times I find myself like, humans. So we chose to be here to help raise the collective consciousness and help the collective ascend into 5D Earth. This means that things have to be brought to light which are out of alignment with 5D Earth. This is also called the purging process of the Great Awakening. I'm sure you guys have heard. So that which is out of alignment has to be healed. Since this is the purging process of the Great Awakening, we have to remember it is a process. It's all a part of the process. Remember, it's a part of the process. It's the same as the dark night of the soul being a part of the spiritual awakening process, or doing shadow work is a part of the ascension process. Otherwise, you never wipe that old identity from your current timeline and ascend into the new higher consciousness identity. Similarly, unless we purge what is out of alignment with New Earth, we're never going to step out of the old archaic identity of old Earth, okay? And that purging process is going to be chaotic, it's going to be painful, but it's also going to be temporary. So when you remember that it's a part of the process, just remember that it is temporary. And what does purge mean? It means that we're deconstructing those old archaic structures, power dynamics that no longer serve unity consciousness. So this is what is necessary, and this is what has been done throughout history. We're constantly getting higher. Just look at, medieval times. How different are things as far as how people were treated in medieval times as they're treated now? Of course, there's plenty of room for improvement, but it's certainly not as bad as it was. And so we're constantly growing into higher states of consciousness in alignment with unity. So you chose to be here, and it's all a part of the process. How to stay spiritual during a world crisis? Hold the light. Now, I believe holding the light is threefold. Number one, be the change that you wish to see reflected back to you in the world, meaning be that loving, compassionate person coming from a state of higher consciousness that you want to see reflected back to you through people. So this means not only staying on your spiritual game, meaning you're meditating, you're staying centered in a state of gratitude in the present moment, but you're also smiling at a stranger. Say hi to a stranger. Ask that stranger in the elevator how their day is going, and genuinely care about their response. Start caring for people. A lot of you guys know that I had to go out of town last week on a medical emergency for my mother. She's in the Midwest. Everybody in the Midwest says hi to each other. They just start just talking about anything and everything, giving you their life story, and this is really transferring high energy. adopt a Midwestern mindset when you go out into the world and just spread that positive energy in the collective. Never underestimate the power of your light. Your candle can light 1,000 other candles and your candle remains lit. Never underestimate the power of your light. Number 2, heal your trauma. You don't want to lower the vibration of the collective consciousness by expressing yourself from a place of unhealed trauma. What is the collective consciousness? It's a collective of individuals. So everything starts with the individual. You have to heal your trauma first, or you're going to pass that unhealed trauma, the vibration, that negative energy to your fellow human. So if you have unhealed trauma, maybe you are passive aggressive, or maybe you emotionally manipulate because you don't believe that you're worthy of having your needs met. That's unhealed trauma. And they say hurt people, right? You got to heal that wound or you'll bleed on the people that never cut you. So this is very important because you don't want to lower the vibration of the collective consciousness because you're expressing unhealed trauma, even if it's unintentional. If you want to do your part, heal the unhealed trauma so that you don't express it to the rest of the world and lower that collective consciousness vibration. So you guys may have heard of the term egregore. So an egregore is a thought form from a large group of people. So if the collective consciousness has a particular thought form, an egregore, that egregore almost has sentience. It almost takes on a life of its own and gains momentum and creates in the physical everything that is in alignment with that thought form, that dominant thought in that form. So you don't want to contribute unhealed trauma to that thought form where it's going to create more 3D things. So when you heal your own trauma, now you're going to contribute love, you're going to contribute unity, you're going to contribute compassion, you're going to contribute understanding, you're going to contribute higher consciousness, which is what the earth is going through right now. The earth is trying to purge the same stuff that you need to purge in your shadow work. So help out the earth by doing your part, by doing your own healing. Number 3, take physical action. So staying spiritual during a world crisis is not just about being in a state of Zen and then leaving the world to its own devices. You want to take physical, positive action as well. One of the best ways to do this is to donate. Now, obviously this is about the war in Ukraine. So what I have done is I've chosen a Ukrainian fundraiser. This is the UNHCR, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. It's the UN Refugee Agency. And these guys provide emergency shelter for the displaced refugees, emergency aid like food and blankets, protection from the Russian soldiers, as well as psychological support. And they are in desperate need of donations. So next to this video is a big blue donate button. If you feel called to take physical action to help with the fight the war in Ukraine, or assist the refugees rather, then you can donate to that. You can also Google Ukrainian fundraisers as well. And you can also, if you don't have the money, you can also donate your time. From what I understand, if you have a particular vocation, there's a lot of different Ukrainian entities that are trying to keep their infrastructure running. So you can kind of virtually provide assistance with whatever your vocation is if they need that. You can also post very positive posts, make posts about positivity and hope to kind of encourage people and to not feed into that negative egregore. Let's feed positivity into the groupthink, into the collective consciousness. So posts of positivity and help, especially to the ones that are affected directly. And this is how you mix the spiritual with the physical to create the world that you want to see. First, we will do quote of the day, and then we will do question of the day. Here's today's high vibrational quote. Now, question of the day. How do you stay spiritual during a world crisis? Leave those comments below. Remember, this Friday, March 18th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific is going to be the first Lightways Live. That topic is going to be navigating chaos and change spiritually, which coincides with this video. So please leave any questions and comments that you want addressed in that live in the comments below. If I pick your comment, I'll give you a little shout out and address your comment in the live. So any questions and comments on staying spiritual during change and chaos. Also, I am going to be doing another live free webinar for my 45-day group coaching. The group coaching program starts March 23rd. I will be doing another live webinar this Wednesday to discuss the features of the group coaching. Again, that's going to be self-love healing, self-worth healing, inner child work, shadow work, etc. So if you're interested in that, just click the link below and we will jump on the live webinar in the group settings. You guys can hear more about the coaching. I think that's all the self-promotion I got for you. We will see everybody in the next video. Light, love, and abundance to all that are watching and to all you love. Peace, guys.